So you have some debauchery. Everybody's wondering, if you have not seen
Sheesh.
this documentary on
The
HBO Max,
dark side.
it is definitely dark. Quiet on Set, for anybody that may be wondering, is a documentary on a lot of not HBO, in Nickelodeon shows from most of our childhoods, actually.
Yeah, good
Revolves
part of all
around
of
one
our
actor,
childhood to a
writer,
certain extent.
giving opinion and basically exposing what really went on behind the scenes of some of our favorite shows, especially well-known writer Dan Schneider, whose name is put out in a lot of horrible things supposedly that went down.
Dan, I like Feet Snyder.
Oh boy,
That's
and
crazy.
Hey,
Why are you so well versed on this?
it is
bruh,
crazy.
how are you not?
You want to know what show?
Well, I watched. We knew about this long before this documentary came out.
Oh yeah,
So
that'd be like
There have
2
been
years.
conversations in the past, but nothing to this
Nothing this
magnitude, to
deep.
this extreme, maybe in this kind of detail. If you're wondering, Dan Schneider is
Yeah, the
creative
detail.
director for many of our,
Amanda Bynes said that nigga got her pregnant back in the day.
including All That, Keenan and Kel, The Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, iCarly, Victorious, many of our shows that we've had favorites, and some accusations and things have come
I
out.
got a question though. When y'all saw Ariana Grande suck her feet on Victorious, y'all didn't think that was real?
Yo,
Nobody saw
hey,
that because
she's the only one that came out better for all of this. Everyone else is in questionable mind states, and she's out here
Did
balling
she
like
though?
a bitch.
She licking
Did
donuts
she
though.
though?
She is out there.
I mean, she ain't never came out and said nothing. So I mean, how are we to know otherwise? Everyone else has
Yeah.
taken that time to talk about it. She's the only one who hasn't. And they say her and Dan were super close. So maybe he wasn't. I don't know.
what are you
wondering,
accusing the creator of Pelswick of?
if you're wondering why they're making
A lot.
accusations, because one of the accusations made over the course of this documentary is that
That boy in the woods.
certain scenes were written in to please Dan Schneider's foot fetish. Well, if you remember any of these shows, there's multiple scenes where they use feet in humor
Or
and
pickles.
signs.
You got to think. There was a
Lots of
time where
pictures.
Nickelodeon's logo was a foot at a certain point.
It was.
literally. It was a what?
If you're wondering, this is
That's
Dan
crazy.
Schneider nowadays. This is Dan Schneider.
Yo,
Back
that interview was nasty work, bro. That interview was disgusting.
Yeah.
It's been quite dark as of recent memory. Once he came out and apologized for actions, not necessarily the sexual accusations.
No, it was the most rehearsed shit ever.
Apologize for some of his attitude and some things that may not have been taken well from him in his past. So he does apologize for that. But all the accusations, sexual accusations, of course, he has vehemently denied all of those. And as of right now, they are rumors. Without
Well, the main ones wasn't by him, and they did hire a PDF file, and
the one you want,
Drake,
Brian Peck. Brian Peck was actually somebody that was deeply involved in the Nickelodeon shows as well, and he has been tried and found guilty of multiple accusations of the same kind of stature.
And you know what he did when he got out of prison? He went over to Disney.
So we'll begin with just your understanding and what you saw and what you think about this. And of course, we got to make sure to remember because
Sheesh.
about the hot tub scene, and just people feel like Matt Bynes is definitely one of the victims of everything that happened. So, Miss Ebony Moonbeam, quiet on set. What you think?
So I actually haven't finished the documentary, but the amount that I have seen is, what trips me out is that there are so many people that are on the internet after watching this and they're like, oh, I'm so shook. I'm so surprised. And for some reason, I'm not as surprised as other people. Like, you don't come out of having like successful careers like this and stuff and end up going through some of the things when it comes to drugs and alcohol and all different types of things like Amanda Bynes has and Drake Bell and Josh and all of them, like that stems from something. And we learn that, drinking and drugs, especially to a level of addiction, is just a symptom of something else you're going through. It's a way to cope and a way to deal with that. And so I hate that this happened to them. And I think that this has opened up a doorway to really kind of take a magnifying glass to other corporations and other production companies that have child stars, it's oh, it was dark. What I saw, I had to put it down because it's a little triggering, to be honest. Um, I prayed for their healing. I'm glad that a lot of people were able to come and speak up and get their truth out there. But no, none of them deserved any of what happened to them, and it's unfortunate that we have so many sick people out there in the world, especially that take advantage of the youth.
Unico Williams, your spiel. What is Nickelodeon now to you?
Oh, it's dead to me, by the way. That's
Oh,
weird.
It
Like
didn't.
I
Oh,
respect
go ahead.
the shows that came out from it, but I'm not gonna sit here. But that's fine with me because outside of the handful of shows that we got in the '90s, like all that Keenan and Kel, Amanda Bynes, like the Amanda Show. I haven't watched Nickelodeon anyway. I grew up as a Disney girl,
Oh,
so I'm gonna just
see,
keep it
I was the
real.
You
complete opposite.
with
I
your
was
rich
a
ass.
Disney
I
girl.
was gonna
With
say
your
she
rich
had
I,
ass.
money. She grew up
With
with
hold
your
on a
rich
money.
second.
ass.
I was a
Disney used to
Disney
cost
girl.
extra, yo. Disney used to
It
cost
did.
extra.
So I was a Disney girl. So like if this was and I still love
Well, Brian
the
Peck went over to
classic,
Disney after he got out of
but
prison.
which is like, somebody mentioned that the other day on the round table actually about like if we went into Disney. And I was like, the thing is Disney, I don't think we would ever get even half of what goes on there. But we can just tell based off of the
They
people that
got
have come
Walt
out of
Disney frozen
Disney.
underneath Space Mountain.
It's a whole thing. So, but like I don't have any ties really to the newer stuff of Nickelodeon. I'm gonna continue to support the shows that I did support when they come back on, just because of the characters and the story itself. But outside of that, Nickelodeon could fall off the face of the planet today, and I don't think it would mean anything to me
It's just a Paramount Plus subsidiary at this point.
at this point.
Unico Williams, you are up.
Yeah, so I haven't watched Nickelodeon in a long time, and it's not for lack of having Nickelodeon. Like I stopped watching it when I was in high school, and like Cartoon Network came out, and I was cool with Channel 15. That's where it's at in my
What's up?
area, and
Fuck
there was
31.
on Saturdays they were giving me Knights of the Zodiac, and they were giving me Naruto episodes. I was getting Cow and Chicken, Two Stupid Dogs. I was getting all that at that point, but Nickelodeon for me was Hey Dude. It was
Hey,
Salute
dude.
Your Shorts. It was Rocco's Modern Life. It was Real Monsters. That's what Nickelodeon was for me, and they just had a whole bunch of random. Let me not forget Rugrats, and even
Rocket
going out
Power.
and buying the Rugrat
Rocket
Rocket
toy,
Power.
Power.
the
Cat
Tamagotchi
Dog,
version of
bro.
Rugrats. Like we wanted to take
Yes,
care of
Cat
Tommy
Dog
Pickles.
classic.
So
Real Monsters.
yes. So with that being said, I didn't think of Nickelodeon like that because I was the kid that was growing up like these kids that are doing this, right? So you got Drake and Josh. I was a kid just like they were. When I'm watching the Amanda Bynes show, because they decided that she was the most funny person out of all that. They said that she was the funny one, and we should give her our own spinoff. Even though Kenny Kell got it first, right?
They did.
But what happened to Josh and what happened to Lori Beth Denberg? Um, we don't know what happened to them and essentially after all that. But they were more funny than me than Amanda
Well, we know
Bynes.
what happened to Josh. He got buff and started hanging out with David Dobrik and fucking got really big on the internet. Got copped a few million views off a reunion. We knew what Josh was doing.
I know that I used to watch Ask Ashley. I used to enjoy her being upset over dumb questions. Which topping goes on first? Peanut butter
Sounds like the
or
real
the jelly?
Ashley.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, like but I wasn't
Let's
thinking that mindset.
go.
I thought they were kids just like I was, and they're just having a good time. And it used to make me feel like I can be on camera too. That's what I thought about Nickelodeon. Now all this stuff comes out, and
Could you imagine being on that set, Joe, and they put two dick shoulder pads on you, and tell you to go over out here and goo this woman's face?
No, because that's nothing I've ever thought about ever in my life. So no.
I'm just
But
saying. They asked someone
but
to
I
do
think
that.
about that Jordan show, right? What happened on? Come on, where's the people from Skeeter? Where are those people? What are they saying? From Cousin Skeeter?
Talking about what?
That's where Megan Good got her
Good.
real start at, right?
Cousin Skeeter.
And then you had what's the other? My Brother and Me. Nobody's talking. You talk
Can
about
can I say something on why I
You
think
may
that
go
is?
ahead.
I don't know if it's like an actual thing, because obviously I can't speak for them, but I will say that we have learned in our community as people of color that there's just certain things that we don't speak on.
I can give you
And so
that.
there's certain
Very
things that
true.
we deal with in our private life. We, like, your parents tell you to pray about it. Like it wasn't
Internalize that
until
shit immediately.
it wasn't until probably the past 5 years where the world started taking mental health seriously, to where even our like Black parents or Hispanic parents were like, oh yeah, maybe therapy does work. Maybe we
We might
will
have
talk about
traumatized you guys
therapy.
a little bit.
We might have done something wrong or whatever. So it wouldn't surprise me if some of them have, dealt with it in their own way. And it's like, you know what, I'm not about to bring up the past, because some people, when they have dealt with things like me, I'm transparent about, going to rehab and no longer drinking and all of that stuff. But not everybody is like that. Not everybody wants to rehash their darkest times for the world to take in and to criticize and be like, and the internet's a crazy place, especially now. You say something and then people say, well, why didn't you say anything before? Why are you just coming out now? And then it turns into a bunch of victim blaming. So I'm not sure if it has something to do with they've already dealt with it and they've moved on, or they're just like, I dealt with it then, like, I'm done. I'm not bringing my name back in this and stuff. Who knows? Or maybe it didn't happen to them, because sometimes people get the really shitty version of a person and everybody else sees a completely different side and never experiences that. So we're not saying that everybody that encountered these individuals had the exact same experience.
Okay, and I'm with that. And I just that we had the guy from Just Jordan. He was like the up and coming comedy kid. Nick Cannon is a huge part of Nickelodeon. To even have his own network called In Networks, if that's what you want to call it.
But that's not around with them though.
Yeah, I was going to say they're not affiliated anymore.
But I'm saying Nick Cannon was he was on all that.
He was.
Right? Was he not?
But that's not to come into
Later
the end of all
seasons,
that.
though.
He wasn't on
Later
all
seasons.
that, I don't think. He was on
I was
all
going to say,
that.
if he was.
I'm
If
talking
he
about Dan Snyder was over
the
all that.
Dan
People that was on early.
Dan Snyder
People that
ran
was on
all
the earlier season of all that.
What about Nickelodeon in regards to Nick Cannon? Let's start talking
Nick
Cannon.
Cannon was involved was after Dan Snyder was like when he was
Yeah,
involved on a corporate level. Dan had been gone for a minute at that point.
Okay, we'll Google when Nick Cannon came to Nickelodeon.
I'm talking corporate. I'm talking he was when we're talking. You're talking about the network.
No, I'm talking about when he was a child actor. I'm talking about the child actor.
Okay.
Dan Snyder wasn't around.
I'm talking about the child
actor. I
actor.
was gonna say I don't think Dan Snyder was there then either, because he was like
I'm talking about the child actor.
You gotta remember, it's the dude they put in charge was the one that leading it.
I don't need to remember anything in regards to this.
I don't need to remember anything.
I'm asking one question. Nick Cannon
joined in 1998, 1999, season 5 of all that.
Yeah. So when did Snyder get taken out of? That's the only question I'm asking.
But no, I'm saying I don't think he was.
I'm asking a question.
Let's see. Let's go.
I'm asking one question. I can do it myself.
You hear the keys clacking. Well, why didn't you do it?
Yeah,
then?
That's why I was like, let me just look. He was a showrunner up until 2019, it appears.
Ooh.
All I'm saying is, so
they
Nick Cannon
stopped extending his production deal in March 26, 2018.
Nick Cannon was a part of that, but he's made plenty of money with Paramount, right? Because Paramount that's that whole umbrella they're under, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
And so
Paramount
like
owns
he
it.
went on to go do come on, black people love this show.
Well,
Wild
Wild
and
Out.
Out.
Wildin' Out. Wildin' Out is under that under
This
that
nigga
umbrella as
went
well,
straight into Uncle territory
No, Wild and
immediately.
Out is under MTV.
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
under Paramount, which is under
It is
Paramount.
now. It is now.
It
But it
had been
wasn't in
because
No,
Comedy
syndication.
that
Central
was
is
a
under that umbrella as well. Comedy Central is under that umbrella as well. Comedy Central, Nickelodeon, all of them is under Paramount.
Yeah, now because Paramount bought up damn near everything. Paramount owns VH1, MTV, like
Viacom, correct?
most things.
Viacom, is
Paramount is
Viacom a
damn
part
near
of?
as big as Disney now.
So I'm gonna just leave it. I'm gonna leave it at this. All I gotta say is that I mean, with the black shows, we're not hearing about My Brother and Me. We're not hearing about Cousin Skeeter. Megan Good is in a great space to talk about Nickelodeon right now.
Is she?
She
Because right
is.
now, I would think that she is trying to stay away from the spotlight with everything going on with her partner. So I don't think she's actually in a good place to discuss it because that only brings more eyes and attention to her. And right now, she's just trying to support her man and stay under the radar. And if you recall, even things involving her marriage, prior to that, Megan Good is extremely private. She does not speak openly about anything that she has going on. And I think she does that deliberately.
I'm
So
gonna leave
I
that.
disagree with that one.
I'm gonna leave that thought there because there's a whole. I'm gonna let everybody else speak, but that's where I want to leave my thought at. Maybe you and I can have that conversation about Megan Good and her situation on another day. But I'll go ahead and I'll leave my.
Dan Snyder
I'll leave my
became in
piece there.
charge in 2000, so that would be after a lot of these shows.
Well, the thing
You got it. Wait, are we doing Afro Comedy next? Go ahead.
Yeah, before I had to mostly wrap that up, Dan Schneider wasn't a part of none of those shows. These are the directly shows that he was writing on and everything. He wasn't a part of Cousin Skeeter. He wasn't a part of most of those other shows that had African American people on them. So he wouldn't have much exposure to them at all, or the same kind of access to them that he does with people that he directly writes with. So those other shows didn't really like people like Cousin Skeeter. He wouldn't have many interactions with Megan Good anyway because he didn't write the show. So
It looked like a
right
whole
now,
different production to me.
the show.
If you watch Cousin Skeeter after anything that comes on Nickelodeon, it doesn't even feel like the same production. It
I mean,
looks
but like I said,
it's almost
it's not
cinematic.
Cousin Skeeter
Like Cousin
necessarily.
Skeeter is
It's not him.
cinematic almost.
I get like
But my
I don't
brother,
know about
but my brother and
cinematic.
me, it sure did look like a sitcom that could be on Nickelodeon.
Shoot, a lot of them look like it be sitcoms on Nickelodeon and be fair. A bunch of them can. Shoot, half of Disney Channel look like it could be on Nickelodeon. Like, just be like most of the live action shows, but just right now it's mostly focused on the
Disney
ones
Channel
that
can be on
could have
Disney
been
Channel.
victims on the show and directly responsible.
It's on another tier. You're not gonna
Afro
go
comedy,
into the
the field
Nickelodeon
is yours.
versus Disney.
Oh, I watched the documentary, but like I said, this is nothing new that we've learned about Nickelodeon. At any point in time, we've heard multiple stories from multiple people, whether it be the people that made it out good or not. Maybe they had different interactions with these same people that these other people had horrible interactions with. But as I've said before, I'm a firm believer of separating the art from the artist. So I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Were some of the scenes now in bad taste in this current time frame? Yes, no doubt about it. Fucking, but here's the thing. There's a fine line between fucking. No, that's definitely not the way to put that. I was about to be like super flagrant, and I had to stop myself right there.
Don't go too far down scumbag lane.
Yeah, I'm reeling it back. Therapy at work, folks. But here's the thing. It's definitely a fucked up situation, and I have more questions, like especially with the Amanda Bynes stuff, because if you go down the Amanda Bynes rabbit hole, yo, it is a wild ride.
It's an acid trip.
Yo, it is intense. Like we thought Britney Spears was kind of out there and like, oh, the conservatorship. Yo, Amanda Bynes. But if all the other stuff, the tweets are wild. Because here's the thing: you can go to Dan Schneider's Twitter right now. This nigga still got tweets about feet from 12 years ago up. He ain't deleting none of that shit. None of it. It's all still there. He don't care. He really doesn't. Like I said, that interview was some of the most bullshit. Like, the most umbrella terms that they could use in that to try sort of softball him away out of the question. And then this nigga goes into this whole fake crying moment when he talks about the Drake Bell, Brian fucking Peck situation. Super unfortunate name. He is not related to Josh Peck, folks. I checked. He's not. But but it is just it's super fucked up. But I'm also not here copping pleas for Drake Bell, although I am a firm believer of hurt people hurt people. That is what that is. Fucking. But here's the thing. Were these kids in a fucked up situation? Some of them, yes. Some far more than others. I mean, I've watched the documentary, folks. It's a horrible thing, and like I feel bad about it. And I mean, what more can you say? Like, Dan Snyder is no longer in control. That's a good thing. I don't feel like regular television's as much of a thing as it's going to be anyways, but hell, once you get into the internet viewing marketplace, there's a lot of shady characters there as well that might not want to expose mass amounts of children to. But it's super unfortunate, yo. And I hope everyone can come out of it feeling better. I hope everyone got paid for this, hopefully, because you notice a lot of these, and it's really fucked up because you notice a lot of people that like got the worst shit done to them, whether you want to put the allegedly in it or not. These are the ones that are no longer in the television business. They're not. They don't want to mess with it anymore. I just saw Amanda Bynes talking about getting her manicures license, bruh. She out here trying to open a nail salon.
Good for her trying to live her life.
Yo, exactly, and I'm all for that. But it is super unfortunate. I just think it's crazy that it took this in-depth documentary to make everybody see stuff that like literally these people have been talking about for over a decade now. So like Carrie and Gillian, the girl that played the goth chick on fucking Victoria, she said all kinds of shit. Like, yeah, I don't know. At least people are paying attention, I guess.
And finally, we have Zell. Zell, speak your piece.
I got 2 points, and one in the first one, I'm gonna start off with a little humor. The only part of the documentary that I enjoyed.
Use that term very loosely.
Hey, Little Fetus.
Don't make humor is nasty work.
Just because Little Fetus part was funny, just because his mom held it down, which goes to my first point. But Little Fetus was hilarious in it. Like they like, hey, you got to be the same skin tone as baby.
Little Fetus was funny. I don't care what nobody says.
That was hilarious. I don't care.
With the alien head and everything, bro. Yeah, that was funny shit.
That was, and that's the only part. That was the first episode. That's the first part. The only part I laughed at. Then it got sick, and that led me to something.
It got real nasty after that.
And it led me to something I really want to talk about. Is how sick these parents were. Except Drake Bell dad, shout out to him. He was great. But then everybody else was just doing the weird. Drake Bell had his mom of his girlfriend literally sit there and be like, something up. Why is this grown man calling you? Like this. He's calling you all day. This is not normal. And why you keep making excuses when you talk like, oh, I'm sick, I don't feel like going in. Why do you have to tell this grown man that? And she instantly knew where his mother just let it go. Her dad even knew. He was like, yo, we finna get you out of there. And they actually changed him, turned him on his dad so he can go to his mom so they can get away with it. Because again, if you notice, most people in this show, their parents were trained to get them out. Oh, I didn't want to say nothing because I didn't want to ruin their career. Even the boy that played Little Feast, like I didn't tell my mom initially because I didn't want her to mess like the money up. His mom came in and wrecked shop. They fired him because his mom like, y'all doing weird stuff. I don't like this. She like, he's difficult to work with. His mom like, no, y'all doing weird stuff. I'm holding it down. Y'all ain't doing nothing weird with my son. Where you want to go with my son? Why you want my son to go places? What are you doing? Why are you talking to him? You ain't going in a room by yourself with my son. The other parent like, oh, you can go stay with this guy and he can just live with him and do all this weird shit. I'm like, no, that's weird. Why are y'all doing it? So shout out to her, which leads to about, it's funny, but you can kind of laugh because his mom held it down and didn't let nothing crazy happen to him. The rest of their parents.
Do you feel like some of that is timing? Like, do we feel like when it comes to child stars now compared to back in the day, like parents were just more trusting than maybe now? Because
my mom didn't trust her more.
So I was gonna say,
no. But you also have to remember when it comes to that, and I hate seeming like very cliche, but a lot of our parents don't play that bullshit. We're even raised differently. Like, let's be real. We're disciplined differently. Like my friends had to come over to my house. Like, you staying over where? Unless you were one of like 3 people my whole life, I wasn't staying over at your house. You had to come to mine where my mama could watch us. Like, that's how that went down. And so, but do we think that because now everything is more out in the open, like even back in the day, people used to just leave their doors unlocked and shit. Like, people, you would just show up to people's house and stuff like that without calling them and be like, hey, I was in the neighborhood. What's up? Now we don't do stuff like that because we know better, but we know better now because everything is so out in the open because of social media and because of access to the news directly to our phone and all that stuff like that. Do we think that maybe some of that would, like, if we were in a different time, like if everything was the way it is now back then when it comes to social media and stuff, do you think that our parents or their parents would have trusted them as much? Or do we think that it wasn't even about a trust thing, it was about getting to the bag, and so they
Listen,
threw
there's
I
parents
think
out
I
here
logic
doing the
honestly,
same
I think it
thing.
was the money. I think it was the money. If I'm
Yes,
gonna be
it's
completely
100% the
honest.
money. Gilbert Arenas will tell you that about how they put these kids through the AAU basketball and all that type of stuff.
I saw
Who
that
you
episode
with,
too.
Nike or Adidas? What you doing? That's the only camps you can go to. They tell them what to do since 8th grade from a basketball kid perspective. So with that being said, another thing about this is like if you had social media, your mind would already be thinking to look for the signs. If I let my daughter do something right now, I'm on that. Who is he? Why are they staying with? What are we? No, my child can stay with me while she's making more bread than I am, apparently. Oh yeah, my daughter's staying with me, and then we're going to work. Do you hear me? We're going to work. But back then, it's just like I was watching this movie Cabrini. I'm gonna shut up, y'all. I swear to God I am. But I was watching Cabrini. It's about a
Man,
nun. It's a
you shouldn't be
nun.
doing that.
Shout out to Overall 99 Media in the reviews. Make sure that y'all like and subscribe. I went and saw that movie, and it's about a nun from Italy that wanted to help children in orphanages and things like that in China. And they was like, nah, if we're gonna let you do this because you're a woman and all this, we're gonna have to you're going to America. Go to America first and then start doing your orphanage stuff, right? So she did all that. She learned how to speak English, all those type of things. But they still hated her for doing the Lord's work. How can you hate a nun? Like, she's
I
supposed to be
mean,
the
the
most pure.
Catholic Church ain't that nice.
She's supposed to be
I
the
was
most.
gonna say,
I was saying the
you don't
Catholic
want to go
Church ain't
down the
that nice. I was
Catholic.
saying,
You
oh
don't want to
no,
go down
Yeah,
that
I wasn't speaking.
fuck the
No, I
road.
wasn't
nuns.
speaking. I wasn't speaking about the men in religion.
Not
I'm
even
talking
the
about the
men.
I
women.
was
Not
saying
even the men.
it's not just the
I'm
men.
talking about the women
You ain't
that
never
that
nigga. Listen, the
they
Like,
nasty
have
expect
you
nun
you.
ever met a
I
have
stereotype
you
know,
ever
came
just
from
met
go,
an
man.
somewhere.
actual
Just go.
nun?
Just go. Y'all can talk about it, man.
No, I'm just saying, like, have you ever met an actual nun? There, a lot of them aren't that nice. As someone
I
that
know
went to
about
a
Mother
Catholic
They
Superior.
school,
be smacking heads with rulers and shit.
Yeah, I know
Angry
about
ass
Mother
old bitch.
Superiors. You can't
Because they
write
sexually
left handed.
suppressed, dog.
I
They'd be
can't
upset.
speak, man. I
Yeah,
can't.
I was gonna say the Lord's holding them down, and sometimes
Let
that
him
ain't
get
enough.
let him get his spiel out. Let him get his spiel out.
It's cool, man. Just go ahead.
Where's your spiel?
Uh,
Because this is gonna be the last thing I get of this before we go to the next
No,
topic.
like, let's go on to something more joyous. Let's go on to
Hold on, I
that.
gotta get my second point out. I ain't
I
finished.
was saying it was Dumb Expert
Yeah.
anyways.
But yeah, like I said, by the way, to Ebony's point, the reason they left the door open because social media wasn't around, and if you come in my house acting up, my dad just get the gun right from the side of his chair and shoot you, and then ain't nobody know about it. Nowadays you can't do that. Like, oh, you come in here yelling like you crazy, you get shot, and everybody knew it, so ain't nobody mess with you. So you come in acting up you want to, all right, you just gonna end up in a body bag, and this is gonna be it.
Oh.
But and the other thing is, why are these laws so lenient to these people? That man got
That
guilty.
part.
He pled guilty and got 16 months.
Yep.
I know a dude personally that pled guilty to something crazy too, just like this, and he got just probation. And if you look at every case, I've done multiple cases on
That's a crazy picture.
I've done many cases. They all only get 10 months. There is a case in Florida that picked up 123 of these people, teachers, doctors. They all already had they have done this prior, and they only got 6 months. And most of them don't even go on a registry after they do their 6 months because they did good behavior. I'm like, why are these laws so lax and why nobody's talking about it? Everybody wants to be, oh, Hollywood doing this. That happened in a regular small spot in Florida. Not Jacksonville, not Orlando, not Miami, in a little bitty like town in between them. 123 people, doctors and everybody. And they all just got out of jail in 6 months. A whole raid of people. And now they back on the street. There's 123 people. And everybody like, oh, we want to stop this. No, you ain't ever asking to vote. So my problem is the parents we want to and the laws don't care because really we say we care, but how many people actually gonna go out there and drum up the law and make it change? So Josh Peck can't go to Nickelodeon after 16 months in jail because he messed with somebody else at Nickelodeon.
Not Josh Peck, Brian.
I mean,
Peck.
not Brian Peck.
Not Josh Peck.
There we go.
Brian
Josh
Peck, Brian
Peck
Peck.
Crazy.
Brian Peck.
But like I said, prayers go out to everybody. The truth will come out. And this, like I said, we have to make a better time and more of a focus to look at child stars and make sure that they're not just losing, time for everything else, because this is some stuff that will have great effects throughout the rest of their future. But